Hi guys, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel Leela WebDev. So we are learning about the injection context. So in the previous video we have seen about the activation route and all those things, also how the injection route will be working. So now in this video what we will try to do we will try to see in which other scenarios also injection context will be working. We know that in the constructor also the runtime context there is nothing but the injection context will be working, so that you can inject the services and all those things. So for example, let's say that here let's try to close these all the things and I will clear off this code also. Let's try to see some other thing. For example, let's say that I am having a widget.component.ts file, okay, and let's assume that so whenever you are creating a token, okay, injection token, so in that injection token also you will be able to get the dependency injection service. So what is the use of this one? So let's try to see. For example, let's say that here I will be creating a new services. I will be creating a new service that is nothing but my service.ts file, okay, and here export class my service, okay. So this is our my service, and here I will be creating a injectable and provide it in root or anything. So if you want, you can provide it in root, okay. So now this is the injectable. Now here, for example, this is our right. So now here I will be having an id is equal to math.random. Let's assume. So this one will create a math.random, and here I will be having a method that is nothing but get id. So in this get id method, if you try to open, so get id method. So in this id, I will try to console.log this.id. That's it. So this is our code. Export class my service. Okay, we need to remove this one. Yeah. So this is our service. Fine. Let's go to widget.component.ts file. So now if I want to inject this services, the common method which you people will be knowing about this one is, so here I can use private my service, okay, of type my service. That's it. So now here I will try okay, and here if I try to get something like get id, this dot my service dot get id, okay. Now here you will be able to see the same output. Fine. Now if I want to inject the same thing with another name means, so we cannot do it like this. So for example, let's say that, so we cannot do it like this. So instead of that one, so we can create an injection token. So now here constant my service token is equal to new injection token of, and this one will return the my service, okay. And here, so what I can do it is, so here I will try to do my service, okay. So now this service token, so here in this provider I can have a something like providers provide, I can do so my service token, and this one will take such a way that use existing of my service. That's it. So now this my service token, or otherwise instead of providing this one also you can inject it directly. So here I can do private, here you can use the inject of my service, my service token, okay. And here we will be able to inject this one, right? So private service 2 of type my service, okay, my service. This one returns my service, right? So this one. So now if I try to get the service 2 also, service2.id, so here I will be able to get the same thing only. So why? Because so as that one is provided in the route, and if you try to use the use class anything, if I try to use the use class also, then also you'll be able to get this. Now we are able to get the different thing. Why? Because so now here I am trying to tell it should create a new service, okay. So now here I am trying to tell in such a way that, so here I am trying to inject this service to, and here I am using use class. So that means it will create a new injection token here. So it will create a new instance of the service. If I want to use the same service of this my service means, then what do you need to do? You need to use the use existing. So here you will be able to see the same ID you will be able to give. That means the same instance we are using. But if I try to use the use class, then I will be able to see the token will be different for this one. So that means we are having another new token. Okay. So instead of having like this also, so what we can, so not instead of having this one. So now what you can able to do it is, so here we have used it like this, right? So now what you can able to do it, right? So this is all the thing which we have did it. Now in the injection token also, you will be able to define the service injection also. So you will be able to, you can able to inject the service injection also. How I can do it is, so here I am giving this my service, and what type of instance I want to return it. So that one you can provide it in the options here. So you can use a factory, okay, and here I can send in such a way that return new my service. That's it, right? So now if I try to return new my service, so that means here I am returning a new instance. So here the same thing, if I try to use the inject token here, so here @inject, okay, and here I am using my service token, and here I will try to return the private, okay, private service 2 of type my service. Okay, we are returning the my service only. So now here the same thing, if I try to use it, so this time also I will be able to get a different thing. You will be able to get a different thing. Why? Because here we are returning a new service. But if I want to use the same thing, means what I can do it is, here I can use the inject of my service. So that means here I am able to inject I can use the injection context here. So that means in the factory, the injection context will be working. Now if I try to use the same service, now you will be able to see the same instance has been written. So that means if you are trying to use the inject means, so I can able to use the inject so that the same instance can be written in this service token. So that means in the injection token also we can able to inject the services, whatever the thing you want to. For example, let's say that this my service token is having some dependency on other services. Where we will be using most often is, for example, if you want to return a new injection to a new instance for this one. So this one is dependent on some private console logger, let's assume. So this is dependent on some other service, console logger of console logger service, let's assume, sorry, console logger service. This one is dependent on console logger service. Now in widget.component.ts, if I try to inject the same thing, so for example, let's say, oh, what is happening here? Yeah. So here instead of depending this one, so what I can do, return new my service. So we in the previous we are trying to return it like this, right? So now this one returned an error. Why? Because this my service is, it needs a constructor or it needs an argument console logger. So now you cannot provide, so if console logger depends on something like that, you cannot provide these all things, right? So you can divide, you can use the inject of console logger service. So you can use it directly like this. So where I have used it, yeah. So console logger service. So now here if I try to execute the same thing, so now you will be able to see the different instance of the service has been written. Why? Because this both match.id both are not equal. Now if you inject, so there is no need to inject of this one. So if you try to inject means automatically it will check all those things. So whichever the dependencies it is required for this my service, it will take all those things and the same instance will be provided. So that is about the injection token which you need to understand. So here in this injection token, what I want to tell is the runtime context or the dependency injection, the management of this dependency injection. So what type of instance you want to provide it and all those things can be able, we can use it in the injection token. What I am trying to tell you is the injection context also will be working in the injection token, not only in the factory provider, in the injection token provider also you can able to do it, and in the constructor you will be able to do it, in activate gods you can able to do it. These are the different places where you can able to do this injection token thing. This is what I want to explain you. Hope you understood about these concepts. So if you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.